Hello everyone. So for this discussion, we are going to talk about sampling theory and sampling distributions. So reviewin lang muna natin yung mga terms that we've discussed in the first chapter, no? Especially this four, no? So when we say population, this is the entire set of observations. Sample, this is the subset of a population, no, or of the population. Parameter, these are the numerical characteristic of a population. So the mean, the standard deviation, the variance pertaining to the population. And the statistic, this is what we call the numerical characteristic of a sample. So to give a bit of a visualization, say, when we say population, let's say for example, in one entire university, no, in a university, all the students enrolled in that university, okay, let's say, for example, we have 10,000 students. Okay, so these 10,000 students pertains to the population. Okay, now, if I am going to get a certain subgroup from this 10,000, let's say, 3,000 people who are studying engineering from these 10,000 students who are enrolled in the university. That is what we call a sample. Okay? Because this 10,000 pesos, okay, came from the 3,000 came from the 10,000 students who are enrolled in the university. Okay, so yun distinction ng population and ng sample natin. That whatever, let's say for example, the mean from the 10,000, okay, that's the parameter. The mean from the 3,000, that's the statistics. So, statistic, so on and so forth. Okay, so, when we talk about sampling, okay, so di ba kanina diniscuss natin yung difference ng population at saka ng sample. When we say sampling, this is the process of getting the sample to represent the entire population mathematically. Yung process natin ng pagkuha nitong yung process ng pagkuha natin nitong 3,000 na to, okay, yun yung tinatawag natin na sampling. Okay, sampling allows the inference of population parameters using a subset of data. Kasi let's say for example, if you want to interview students, okay, who are enrolled in a university, medyo hassle naman kung yung buong 10,000 estudyante ay i-interviewin mo. So why not just get certain amount, lower amount of students or lower number of students, okay, to interview to represent the entire population. Yun yung tinatawag natin na sampling. Okay, meron tayong two main types of sampling, the random sampling and the non-random sampling. But in engineering data analysis, we're always talking about random sampling. Dito. Ay. Ay. Wait lang ha. Ayan. Okay? Ayan, ito. No, so si non-random sampling kasi meron tayong ang tawag dito, meron tayong notion of the bias wherein predetermined yung pagkuha natin ng sample before we do the actual sampling. Okay, yun yung difference ng random sampling sa non-random sampling. Kaya in engineering data analysis, we're always doing random sampling, okay, to avoid bias that would eventually affect the distribution. No, yung magkakaroon ng skewness, ng kurtosis, etc. etc. Okay? So that is what we call sampling. Now, for random sampling, 'di ba? So, for a sample that to be mathematically valid, every element must have a known non-zero probability of being selected. Meaning, all elements from the population must have at least an equal amount, an equal amount of probability to be chosen. Okay, dun sa 10,000 estudyante na binanggit natin kanina, dapat at least isa doon, no, merong 1 over 1,000, 1 over 10,000% na probability na mapipili siya. Okay? In engineering and other related sciences, sampling is often without replacement. Meaning, once an element is selected to be a sample, hindi na siya pinapalitan. Okay? With this no replacement process or without replacement process, nagre-require tayo or mostly nagre-require tayo ng finite population correction. If we're going to remember yung sa approximations, yung normal approximations to binomial and Poisson distributions, yung same concept nung finite population correction natin dito. We add or subtract 0.5 dun sa ating raw score before we process the distribution. Okay? So we have three types of random sampling. We have the simple, the stratified, and the clustered random sampling. So let's discuss these three types or subtypes of random sampling. The simple random sampling, this is also known as the gold standard of probability sampling, wherein each element has exactly equal probability of being selected, regardless of let's say, dun sa 10,000 estudyante, regardless of the year level, regardless of the demographic origin, regardless of the age, the major, so on and so forth, as long as you are all grouped according to one minimum condition. Okay, one minimum condition, you are given an equal opportunity or equal probability of being selected. Okay, this simple random sampling is often associated with what we call a random number generator. Wherein, okay, each element, if the element is non-numerical, okay, mostly for non-numerical elements, each elements are assigned on a number, okay, prior selection. Then gagamit tayo ng random number generator to identify kung sinong mga element yung papasok dun sa sample. Okay? So that is simple random sampling. Okay? This is applicable for a homogeneous population. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, dapat mayroon silang minimum similar criteria. Okay? Similar members, dapat mayroon common criteria bago tayo gumamit ng simple random sampling. Okay, ano ang advantage ng simple random sampling? Of course, we have minimal bias since every element is given an equal opportunity, and this is mathematically straightforward. Wala masyadong complications when we do random sampling. Okay, ano lang ang disadvantage ng simple random sampling? This can be impractical for very large population. Now, let's say for example, in 1 million elements, no, medyo mahirap mag-random sample sa 1 million elements. No, masyado na mababa yung probability. Biruin mo, that's 1 over 1 million, 'di ba? And this may accidentally miss small subgroups. No, yun ang main disadvantage talaga ng simple random sampling. Kasi for example, you want to do simple random sampling for a group of students, let's say yun nga, yung 10,000 people, okay, yung 10,000 students, sige natin dito, yung ating 10,000 students. And dito sa 10,000 na to, let's say, equally distributed. We have 2,5, 2,5, 2,5, at saka 2,5 per year level. Years level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Paano sinasabi yung may accidentally miss small subgroups? Because of the generation, di ba, lahat nga yan, merong equal amount of probability. That's 1 over 10,000. Equal amount of probability na mapipili. E paano kung dun sa selection, dun sa random number generation, ang mga mapili is only between 3 and 4. Okay, years level 3 and 4. Pwedeng hindi mapili si 1 and 2 kasi nga they have equal amount of probability to be chosen. Okay, yun yung sinasabi natin na one of the main disadvantages of simple random sampling. Okay, kaya doon naman papasok yung ang tinatawag natin na stratified random sampling. In a stratified random sampling, the population is divided into non-overlapping groups called the strata or stratum kapag singular based on shared characteristic. Doon sa binanggit natin kanina, 'di ba, 1, 2, 3, and 4, yun yung mga strata na ginawa natin doon sa 10,000 estudyante. Divided into year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. No, there's no overlapping. No, kasi hindi naman pwedeng both year levels ang isang estudyante. First year siya, at the same time, second year siya. Diba? Otherwise, irregular. Pero we are disregarding that idea. Basta kumbaga, tinitingnan natin yung year level based on the tenure, kung gano'n na siya katagal sa university. Okay? A simple random sampling, okay, after we have divided the population into strata, no, into different strata, a simple random sampling is done then on each strata or on each stratum. No, so for example, dun nga, magsasample tayo sa 10,000, na-divide na natin to year 1, 2, 3, and 4. So dun sa year 1, let's say for example, in this case, we have year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. Okay? So, bawat isa, okay, dun tayo kukuha ngayon ng random sample. Okay, giving equal opportunity for each stratum, okay, for each stratum to be represented on the overall sample. Okay, so yun yung tinatawag natin na stratified random sampling. Okay, so if a university, let's say for example, if a university has 60% engineering majors and 40% non-engineering majors, a sample of 100 students must be composed of 60 engineering majors, that's 100, that's 100 times 0.6, okay, which is 60, and dun sa 100 times 0.4, which is 40. Okay, para proportionate pa rin yung amount ng sample dun sa amount ng population. Okay, yun yung target ng stratified random sampling. Okay, this is applicable when the population is heterogeneous, meaning, ano ibig sabihin, kabaliktaran ng homogeneous, no? Mayroon tayong significant or rather mayroon tayong clear boundaries between the elements. Okay? So, this is applicable, ayun nga, heterogeneous, and each subgroup must be proportionally represented. Kung ilan yung percentage ng subgroup na yon on the population will also be the percentage of that subgroup on the sample. Okay, hindi sila magkakaiba based on the percentage. Kaya nga proportionally represented. Okay? So, ano ang pros? Of course, we have high precision and captures key population characteristic. Kung ano yung target mo, okay, yun talaga yung mapapalabas mo dun sa sample mo. Ano lang ang disadvantage ng stratified random sampling? Of course, there is a required detailed knowledge of the population before the sampling. Dapat pre-identified kung sino yung mga estudyante na nasa first year, nasa second year, nasa third year, and nasa fourth year before you do the simple random sampling on each stratum. Otherwise, hindi mo rin makukuha yung target mo. Diba? So medyo mas tedious kumbaga yung pre-processing aspect ng dataset natin very evident for a stratified random sampling. Okay? So, now, we talk about cluster random sampling. When we say cluster random sampling naman, okay, the population is divided into naturally occurring groups, also known as clusters. Okay, ano ang kinaiba ni cluster random sampling kay stratified random sampling? Si cluster random sampling is often used in much more larger dataset. Let's say, for example, the population of a country. Sino yung mga galing ng NCR? Sino yung mga galing ng Region 4A? Sino yung mga galing ng Region 3? So on and so forth. No? So yun yung mga clusters na tinutukoy dito sa cluster random sampling. Unlike nung sa ating stratified random sampling na kung saan yung stratum natin, no, yung baseline na stratum natin is often derived from the population for a smaller value of a population. Okay, the entire clusters may be randomly selected and the entire cluster may be sampled. Unlike ng stratified, okay, unlike ng stratified random sampling na each stratum has a proportion, no, certain amount of a certain percentage for each stratum. Dito kay clustered random sampling, no, the entire cluster may be sampled. Okay, so this is applicable when the population is from an overly large geographic area or when a complete list of individuals is unavailable but a list of groups exist. No, yun nga, best ginagamit talaga to sa census. 'Di ba? Let's say for example, anong mga region or rather ilang percentage ng Pilipinas ang, if you're familiar yung sa recent trend na lumabas dun sa heat map ng education level. That's one good example of clustered random sampling. No, yung recent, I think it was posted last month, no, regarding the educational level of each people coming from different provinces, including Metro Manila. No, so that's one good example of clustered random sampling. Okay, so ano ang pros ng clustered random sampling? Of course, this is much cheaper and faster for large-scale field research. Kasi nga, una gumagamit nito, census. 'Di ba? And census are already like pre-budgeted, 'di ba? So wala ka na masyadong tools na gagamitin. Ano lang ang cons, no? Higher risk of sampling error if clusters are not diverse. Now, for example, mas malaki ang population ng NCR kaysa ibang region. So, most likely, magkakaroon tayo ng medyo may pagka-deviation tayo. I mean, nag-deviate yung natin towards the population of NCR kasi the population from NCR composes a much higher percentage of the entire population compared to other regions. Okay, yun yung cons ng clustered random sampling. Okay? So, I hope malinaw po yun sa sampling theory natin. Okay, let's go now to the sampling distributions. So, this sampling distributions is somewhat similar, hindi na similar, related dun sa continuous probability distributions natin, no? Pero it is a different, these are different types of distributions, except for one, the normal distribution. Kasi gagamitin pa rin natin sa normal distribution. Sampling distributions is the probability distribution of a statistic. No, so meaning, ano ang ibig sabihin nito? We are always talking about samples. Okay, kaya mahalaga ang sampling theory natin for sampling distribution. If every possible sample of size n from a population is processed, the distribution of those sample means would be the sampling distribution of the. Okay, review natin si CLT. No? This was already discussed in the normal distribution. Okay, if x1, x2 up until xn are independent random variables with mean mu and variance of sigma squared, then as n approaches infinity, the distribution of the sample mean approaches a normal distribution. Now, we can approximate or we can use normal distribution in evaluating a sample, okay, provided that there is a large number of samples. Okay, dapat mas malaki. Okay, however, before we use normal distribution, of course, we're going to use the standard error. Okay, so sigma x is equal to sigma over square root of n. This was already discussed previously. No, may idadagdag lang ako ng konti. If n is relatively small to n, meaning, okay, please take note of this important this very important, ang tawag dito, equation, no? N over n, or sample over population, must be greater than 0.05. Okay? If n over n is less than or equal to 0.05, no, please take note of this, please take note of this. Then the standard error, instead of having only sigma over square root of n, we were going to multiply the finite population correction. Finite population correction. I forgot the term for this one, no? But this factor, I think this first rather lumabas to una sa hypergeometric distribution, no, which we discussed in the discrete probability distributions. We have here the square root of n minus n over n minus 1. Population minus the sample over population minus 1. Understood? No, kapag the ratio of the sample versus the population is less than or equal to 0.05. Naintindihan po? Okay, so kapag less than, no, kapag greater than, okay, so we're going to use this one. Instead, we're going to use this instead of this. Okay? So I hope malinaw po 'yan, ano? So apologies, medyo na-confuse ako dito, no? So we have, bring ko muna ito. Ayan. So for this, no, ito yung tatandaan natin for n relatively small. Okay, to the population is relatively small to the sample, no? So gagamitin natin to instead of this one. Okay? So I hope malinaw, ano? Sige. So let's have one example for this, no? An electronics company produces resistors with a mean resistance of 100 ohms and a standard deviation of 2 ohms. If a random sample of 25 resistors is taken, find the probability that the sample mean is less than 99. Okay, so game, no? So let's solve this one. So ano ba ang mga meron tayo dito? Of course, the mean resistance. So this is our mu. Diba? So the population mean. So that's 100 ohms. The standard deviation. So that is 2 ohms. If a random sample, no? So this is small n. Is 25, okay, find the sample, the probability that the sample mean is less than 99. Okay, so probability ang hinahanap. Okay, so first let's first check the ratio, okay, of n. excuse me. The ratio, wait lang. Okay. T-distribution na pala to. Okay, so let's use this one later on. So first, let's get our standard error. No? So since we cannot identify the ratio, since wala namang binigay na population amount, no, diretso tayo doon sa standard error natin na sigma over square root of m. Okay, so with our sigma, that's 2 over square root of 25. So this is equal to 2 over 5, or this is 0.4. Okay, so yan yung gagamitin natin for the probability of the sample mean. That is less than 99 ohms. So dito gamit na tayo ng dito ng formula for the probability distribution. So we have here the probability that the mean, okay, yung mean natin is less than 99. So gagamit tayo ng 1 minus the probability that the mean is greater than or equal to 99. Okay? So we have 1 minus the integral, okay, from not yet the integral. 1 over sigma x, diba? So that's 0.4 times square root of 2 pi multiplied to the integral, okay, from, okay, so since this is greater than or equal to 99, so 99 going positive infinity, okay, of e raised to negative 1/2 times x minus, okay, the mean over the standard error. So that is 0.4 dx. Okay? So yan yung formula na gagamitin natin to solve for the probability. Okay? So sige, let's try to have the calculator, no. Ano ko lang. Wait lang. Set up ko lang. Oops. Sige, let me double check lang. Okay, so let's calculate for a while. Okay, no, so we have here 1 minus 1 over 0.4. Okay, square root of 2 pi multiplied to the integral. Where's the integral? Ito. Okay, so we have here the integral of e raised to negative 1/2 multiplied to x, okay, minus the mean, that's 100, over the, sorry, I forgot the square dito. Okay, so asan ako? That's 0.4 squared, okay, from 99 going positive infinity, no? So let's say ayan, 4 na 9 naman. So we have here, so that is 0.006, no? So we have, for our answer, that is 0.006209 or 621, no? Or this is 6.209 times 10 raised to negative 3. Okay, so that is how we solve for excuse me, for the sampling distribution, no, given that we have a very large, sorry, no, so we are given that a very large n, no, for us to use a normal distribution to solve the probability. Okay, so now let's go to the other types of distribution. So kasi si normal, kung paano natin siya sinolve dun sa mga modeling distributions natin on the continuous probability distribution, ganun din naman. Now, dito tayo magkakaroon ngayon ng additional distributions. First, we start with the student's t distribution. So this is used and is essential when the population variance is unknown and the sample size is is small. No, usually when n is less than 30. Okay, so ano yung mga variables na ginagamit natin dito? Z or Z, no? So that's the standard normal variable. We have our V as our chi-square variable and our upsilon, the degrees of freedom, no? Meron na tayong mga additional terms na kino-consider dito. Again, we have Z, that's a standard normal variable. We have V as a chi-square variable and the upsilon as our degrees of freedom. The t distribution is defined as, okay, so that's t is equal to Z over the square root of V over upsilon. Okay? In practical engineering context, no, so we are using the statistic of t distribution. Kasi itong nauna, this is for population. Okay? So, again, ginagamit natin si student's t distribution if the variance is unknown. Okay? So, sorry. Please correct the, I forgot. na, okay? So, again, so for our sample, so we have small t that's equal to the sample mean minus the population mean over the standard deviation of ano tong S, no? That's the standard deviation of the sample over square root of n. Okay? So, yan yung ginagamit natin for students t distribution pag statistic ang gamit natin. Like the normal distribution, the student t distribution is bell-shaped and symmetric around a mean. Now, so if we're going to graph, okay, our student t distribution, again, similar siya kay, ayan, okay, similar siya kay normal distribution. Symmetric around the mean. So, kung ano yung amount dito sa left side, ayan, sa right side rather, okay, yun din yung amount sa left side. Kasi nga, symmetric. Okay? So, the t distribution has heavier tails than the normal distribution. Yun yung difference niya. Kumbaga, this is the normal distribution. Tama? Ito yung normal distribution natin. Ang t distribution natin, medyo mas mababa. Ayusin natin. Ayan. Okay, medyo mas mababa. Pero symmetric pa rin. Ito yung t distribution natin ngayon. Okay? So, the t distribution has heavier tails than the normal distribution. This accounts for the extra uncertainty introduced by using the sample variances, yung ating S of x squared, to estimate the population variance, no, the sigma squared. Okay, the degrees of freedom is the sole parameter. As epsilon approaches infinity, the t distribution becomes identical to the standard normal distribution. Okay, kaya kapag n is greater than or equal to 30, the difference between the t and the normal distribution is often negligible. Meaning, pwede na nating i-approximate si t distribution using the normal distribution. No, basta ang n natin is greater than or equal to 30. Okay? So, yan. This degree of freedom, siya yung nag-identify, no, nung kurtosis, no, kung gaano kataas o gaano kababa yung yung t distribution natin. Okay, we have this what we call the student's t distribution, no? So, actually, pwede naman ninyo makita yan dito. Ayan. Okay, so we have nasa taas, dito sa gilid, si epsilon, no? So, this is our degree of freedom. Then, dito yung confidence level natin, nandito sa gilid, no? So, we're going to use this table, the student's t distribution, for easier calculations. Okay, unlike the normal distribution kasi na we can use the integral, no? Actually, minsan nga medyo mahirap pa, no? So, sa student state distribution table natin, no, direct na, no, given the nu, or given epsilon and our t value, our t statistic, no? So, yun. That's how we compute for the student state distribution. Wait lang. Ayan. Okay, so later pakita natin ano kung paano ginagamit tong student state distribution table natin. Okay, so we have here an example. An engineer is testing the tensile strength of a new composite plastic. A sample of 10 specimens is tested, yielding a mean strength of 75 megapascals with a sample standard deviation of 5 megapascals. Find the t-value that corresponds to a 90% confidence, 95% confidence level. No? So, sige, let's try to solve this problem. No? So, we are given here the sample of 10. N is equal to 10. Okay? So, yielding with a mean strength. No, so this is our sample. So 75 megapascals. Then we have here our standard deviation. So that's S sub x of 5 megapascals. So ang tinatanong, ano daw yung t-value or the area that corresponds to 95% confidence level. Okay, so p-value at 0.95. Okay, yan yung pinapahanap. Okay, so first, no, so what we're going to do, okay, so first identify epsilon, no, our degree of freedom. So this is given by n minus 1. Okay, which our n is 10. So that's 10 minus 1, that's equal to 9. Okay, so that is our confidence level. Next, let's determine confidence level, degree of freedom. Now, let's determine our alpha. No, so for our alpha, okay, ito yung gagamitin natin kasi yun yung nasa baba, yung t alpha. Ito. Dito. Okay, at 95%. So, ano ang formula natin for alpha? So, this is equal to, so that's 1 minus the confidence level ng ating 0.95. Kasi yun yung sinabi dito. So, that's equal to 0.05. Okay? So, meaning, okay, ano ang gagawin natin? Excuse me. Ayan, anong gagawin natin? Now, this confidence interval, since ang data natin is two-tailed, di ba? Kung titingnan natin dito, ayan o, meron tayo sa left side, meron tayo sa right side. What we're going to do is, we're going to divide alpha by 2. Okay? So, meaning this part, this is alpha over 2. Ayan. Okay, so we have 0.025. So yan yung hahanapan natin ng value. Okay, so what we're going to do, no? So we have here t of 0.025, no? So gagamitan natin ngayon to ng t-table, no? So, balik tayo dito sa may t-table natin. Okay. We have here our nu na 9. Ito. Okay. So, yan yung nu natin na 9. Now, let's look at, oops, sorry. Let's look at the, oops, sorry. From this 9, no, hanapin natin yung 0.025. No? So, Okay. So, since dito kasi kay this reference table is from Shom's outline. So dito, ang nakalagay dito sa taas is the confidence interval na, no? So confidence level dito sa taas. So ang gagawin natin, 'di ba? Kinompute natin si alpha, no? Ito yung pinapahanap sa atin, this 0.025. But since our table dito, sa iba kasi kay if I'm not mistaken uh, kay Walpole yata, no? Yung isang book, no? At T alpha ang ginagamit, no? So dito instead, ang gagawin natin yung eto na yung hahanapin na. Sorry. Ang hahanapin natin ngayon ay yung asa na yun? This 0.025, burahin ko muna to. Sorry about the confusion. Okay. This 0.025 isubtract natin kay 1 ulit. Okay? Para makuha natin yung nasa taas ng table. Okay, which this is equal to 0.975. Okay? So since yung 0.975 ang kailangan natin, okay? Dito pagdating sa table, yun na yung gagamitin natin. This is T 0.975. Ayan. So balik tayo sa T table natin. So we have here yung equivalent. Ayan. No, tapos dito. Ayan. Saan siya nag-overlap? Anong value at this part? That's 2.26. Okay? So yun yung overlap part nung dito nung sa table natin. So with this, the t value is equal to 2.26. Ayan. Okay, by using the table. Okay, so since t-value lang naman yung hinahanap, yan yung kailangan natin. But let's say for example, if you want to find the margin of error, you can use the standard error, then multiply the value of the mean, okay, with the margin of error. So to compute for the standard error, that is sigma x or sorry, wait. This is S, no? So our standard deviation. So dito, to avoid confusion, ayusin na natin. So the standard error, that is S over square root of n. So that's equal to 5 over square root of 10. So this is equal to about, sige, calculator natin. Ayan. So we have here 5 divided by square root of 10. So that is 1.581. No? So we have here 0. That is 1.581. Okay. Tapos this 0.1.581, yan yung ipa-plus at ima-minus natin dun sa mean dito sa mean. Ito, I mean yung mean strength, yun, hinahanap ko yung term. Ito, sa ating mean strength, no, to identify yung margin of error natin, no. So, ayan. Okay, so yun, no, so that is for mean strength tuloy. Sorry, sa t-value, no. So we have here, so for the margin of error, so that's equal to t times the standard error. So that's equal to, labas ulit natin si calcu. Yan. So, that is, asan na ako? 2.26 times 1.581. So, ayan. So, our margin of error is plus minus 3.57. Okay? So, that is how we perform or use the t-distribution, okay, in solving probability problems. Okay? So, yan. Now, another example, I think I have one more pa for a while. Yeah, ito, meron pa tayo dito. So, you can pause this, okay, para naman you can try on your own. Then, resume the video after na lang to check, no? Okay, so assuming that you have tried to solve this on your own, okay, so let's solve this. A manufacturer claims a battery lasts 40 hours. Skeptic tests 16 batteries and find the mean of 38 hours with a sample standard deviation of 3 hours. Calculate the t-statistic to see how far the sample deviates from the claim. No? So, again, ang minahanap is pag sinabing how far the sample deviates, that is the margin of error. Okay, so, or the margin of error, the t-value, no? So, okay, game, no? So, let's try to solve this, no? So, we have here, sabi, our mean is 40 hours since that is the claim of the manufacturer. Okay, a skeptic tests 16 batteries, so that's our N, 16, with sample standard deviation of 3 hours. So we have here 3. Calculate the t-statistic to see how far the sample deviates from the claim. So similar na sa sagawa natin nung una, no? So game, okay, so let's compute for first. We have here, sorry, I forgot the sample mean. So that's 38. So given this, we can actually use the formula, no, for the t-value. Ito, asa na yun? This one. Sorry. This one. Kasi given naman na, meron naman na tayo eh. No, so that's the sample mean. Oops. We have here the sorry. The sample mean minus the population mean over the standard error. Tama ba ako? Error ba? Yeah, the standard error over the square root of it. Okay, so first wala pa tayo standard error, so we can have the standard deviation over square root of n. So that's 3 over square root of 16. So that's 3/4 or 0.75. No? So, yeah. So for the mean, no, so we have here 38 minus 40 over that is sorry. This part is our essence. Ito, yung kinumpit na natin. So this is 0.75. So I have to correct yung, sorry. To avoid confusion lang, this should be S lang. Kasi standard error yun nasa baba. Sorry for the overlook. Ayan. Okay, so eto. No, so this is equal to, so that's negative 2 over 3/4. So this is equal to negative 8 over 3. Okay, so or this is, so let's use the calculator again. So that's negative 8 over 3 or negative 2.67. Ayan. Okay? So that is the deviation, di ba? Using the t value. Okay? So that is for the t distribution. So I hope clear no yung para sa t distribution natin. Now let's go to another one, no? We have here the chi-square distribution. So kung si t distribution is used when the population variance is unknown, ito, 'di ba? Ayan, oh, the population variance is unknown. Si chi-square naman, okay, this is used to make inferences about the population variance. Given ngayon si population variance. Okay? So, if x1, x2, x3, and xn is a random sample from a normal population with variance, sigma squared, the chi-square statistic, okay, is equal to n minus 1 times the standard the sample variance over the population variance following a chi-square distribution with nu or with epsilon equals n minus 1, which is the degrees of freedom, yung ating DOF, no? So that is for the chi-square distribution. Unlike the T or the Z distribution, the chi-square distribution is not symmetric, no? So kung i-graph natin si chi-square distribution, ang itsura ni chi-square distribution is parang log normal. Ganito. Yan. Ganyan. Since this is based on, it is skewed to the right, no? Kaya pag ganyan, no, yung distribution natin. Since it is based on the squared values, x squared, chi-square values are always positive, no? Always greater than or equal to 0. For very small degree of freedom, the curve starts high near the y-axis. Ito yun. And the peaks move to the right. Okay? Mag-move yung peak natin going away from the y-axis kapag tumataas yung degree of freedom natin. No? So, kumbaga parang in a way, nagiging ano siya, nagiging mas malapit siya sa normal distribution habang tumataas yung degree of freedom natin for the chi-square distribution. Okay, so this is the chi-square table. Okay, so we have here the degree of freedom on the left and the confidence interval on top, no? Nandito sa taas. Okay, so ganun din, no? Intersection ng top row and ng ng column and ng row, okay, to get the chi-square value. So we have here an example, no? A soft drink machine is designed so that the variance of the fill amount is no more than 0.01 deciliters. A sample of 25 bottles is checked and the sample variance is found to be 0.015. Under the assumption that the fill amounts are normal, find the chi-square statistic. No, so yun yung pinapahanap sa atin. Sige. So first, okay, so we have here the population variance. So that is 0.01 deciliters. Ayan. No, so then we have here the sample variance 0.015 deciliters and our sample, no, so that is n. So that's equal to 25. Okay, so calculate the chi-square statistic. So yung x squared ang pinapahanap sa atin. So first, no, so let's determine the degree of freedom, no? So we have here n minus 1. So that's equal to 24, no? So next, ano ang kailangan natin, no? So for the chi-square formula, so we have here, anong formula natin for the chi-square distribution? So we have this one, yung epsilon natin. epsilon. So that's nu times the sample variance over the population variance. Okay, so this is equal to 24 times the sample variance, that's 0.015 over 0.01. Okay, so for our our chi-square statistic. So, yan. Okay, so we have here, asa na ako? Yan, so let's, ano na pala, calq. Ayan, sorry. Ayan, so we have here 24, 0.01 sa baba, times 0.015. Ayan. So therefore, we have here our chi-square statistic is equal to 36. Okay, so that's how we compute for the chi-square statistic. Okay, so using the formula. Another one, no? So we have here a laboratory instrument is known to have measurement variance of 4, no? So yun yung ating, lagay na natin dito, ang ating population variance. In your technician, takes 6 measurements, so that's n, and gets a sample variance of 12. Ayan. Find the probability that the chi-square value is greater than or equal to the observed value. Okay, so dapat daw kung i-graph natin to, no, so ang pinapahanap is if this is the observed value, let's say ito yung observed value, and this is the chi-square statistic, yung chi-square value natin, ito yung probability na lalampas, no? Ito, kumbaga yung area tong part na to. Okay, so game, no? So let's try to solve this one. So first, let's determine the degree of freedom, our epsilon. So that's equal to 6 minus 1, so that's equal to 5, no? So let's compute for the chi-square statistic, no? So we have here nu s squared over sigma squared. Oh, sorry, hindi ko pala na ibaba yung calculator. Ayan. So going back, so we have here 5 times 12 over 4. Ayan. Okay, so ay, tama ba ako? Sorry, baliktad. No, tama pala. No, so ayan. Okay, so our chi-square statistic. So using the form this one, ayan. So we have here 5 times 12 divided by 4. So that's equal to 15. So our chi-square statistic is equal to 15. Okay, now, so find the probability, no? The critical value for the critical value comparison, no? So for our chi-square table, no, punta tayo sa chi-square table natin. Hanapin natin na yung degree of freedom is equal to 5. Ito dito. So, nandito yan. So, ito. Yan yung values ng chi-square natin. Okay? Na with the degree of freedom na 5. Okay, so what we're going to do is, so we have here several values na malapit kay 15. No, so hahanapin natin ngayon, okay, kung nasaan dito malapit si 15. Ayan, so I mean yung value ng chi-square mismo natin. Dito, no, obviously malayo, 0.412, 0.554. So, as we move to the right, lumalaki. No? Ano yung mga malalapit? Etong part na to. Oops. Ipalitan natin ang color. Ito. Ayan. Itong mga to. No, so, kay 12.833, malayo pa. 15.08 086. No, medyo malapit. May konting sobra na tayo ng 0.086. Okay, then we have 16.750. Ang pinakamalapit, sorry about this, ang pinakamalapit is si 15.806, which belongs to this one. Diba? Chi-square with confidence interval of 0.10. No, so, ang ating for a while. Sorry. Mali akong tinitingnan. Ayan. Sorry about that. Ayan. Okay, so, ang malapit dito kay 15, yung ating value na 0.010, which is equal to 15.086. So, since siya yung pinakamalapit, ang probability is this one. No, yung nasa baba. So, we have our probability that the chi-square value is greater than or equal to the observed value is 0.010 or 0.01. Okay. So that's how we solve or use chi-square distribution, okay, to solving probabilities using the table. Okay? Now, we go to the F distribution. No? So, kung si T distribution at si chi-square distribution pertains to one variable, no, one independent variable. Si F distribution naman, kapag meron tayong two independent chi-square variables. Ito, each divided by its degree of freedom. No, so in practice, we use this to compare to variances. So, pagka dalawa ang variance sa given, we use F distribution. As simple as that. Okay, so, this is still based on the chi-square distribution, kumbaga. No, compare lang tayo ng dalawang chi-square distributions, we come up with the F distribution. So, if we have here the sample variance, two sample variances, or the variances of independent random samples of size n1 and 2, then our F variable is equal to the ratio, okay, of the first independent variable, no, S squared over ratio of the sample and the population variances, okay, over the ratio, okay, of the second independent variable, no. So yun si F distribution. Okay, so this has 2 degrees of freedom, no, so epsilon 1 and epsilon 2, no. So like the chi-square distribution, this starts at 0 and is skewed to the right. No, parehas ng graph si F distribution at si chi-square distribution. Ayan. Okay, so by convention, we usually place the larger sample variance in the numerator so that F is greater than 1, making it easier to use the standard F table. So meaning, sir, hindi determinate kung ano yung ilalagay kay N1 tsaka kay N2. Yes, no, kung ano yung mas malaki, yun na nilalagay kay N1 kasi siya yung nasa taas. Yung mas malaki ang sample variance. Sample variance ang tinitignan. Sample variance. Ito. Okay, so sige, no. So we have here the F distribution tables. Meron tayong dalawa, no. So for the 95th percentile or 0.05 confidence level, and the 99th percentile or the 0.01 F levels, no? So yan. So this, kung paano ginagamit to, same lang naman dun sa uh, nauna natin, ano? We have here sa right, no? Kumbaga sa pababa si Upsilon 2, sa pagilid si Upsilon 1. Sir, hindi po pwede magbaliktad yan? Hindi. Nakakaintindihan po mga kapatid, no? Pababa si Upsilon 2, yung mas maliit na, yung mas maliit na sample variance, sa taas yung mas malaki ang sample variance. Ito, yun ang sa taas. Okay, so we use both, no? Depende kung ano yung hinahanap kong yung 95th percentile or the 0.05 confidence level or the 0.01 confidence level. Okay, so we have here an example, no? So sabi dito, an electronics plant uses two different machines to cut silicon wafers. The engineer wants to know if machine A is more consistent, has higher variance, is more inconsistent rather, sorry, with higher variance than machine B. Okay, so ito yung mga given. Machine A has sampled 11 wafers with the sample variance of 25, no? So machine B naman, no? So we have 16 samples with the sample variance of 10. Calculate the F statistic and find the critical value for the confidence level of 0.05. Meaning we are at the 95th. Oh, sorry. We are at the 95th percentile. No, so yun yung pinapahanap. Okay, so first, no, so let's calculate the degrees of freedom given naman natin dalawa. Okay, so we have here our new Upsilon 1. So that's, ano ang mas malaki, no? So yung mas mataas ang sample variance yung nasa Upsilon 1. So we have here 11 minus 1. Our Upsilon 2, so that is 16 minus 1. Okay, so we have 10 and 15 respectively. Again, paano ko nalaman kung ano yung 1 and 2? Mas mataas yung variance ni machine A kay machine B. Okay, so yun yung gagamitin natin sa taas. Okay, next, no? So let's calculate the F ratio, no? So we have here okay, so we have for our F ratio, so we have S squared 1 over S squared 2. No, since hindi natin alam kung ano yung overall machine, I mean yung population variances nila, no? So we use this ratio, so we have 25, sorry. 25 divided by 10, which is 2.5 as we know. Tama, no? So then we have here, no? So after we calculate the F ratio, now we are going to identify the critical values, no? So paano natin hanapin to, no? So using our confidence level, so F na 0.95 ang hinahanap natin, no? So this is equal to, no? So our nu is 10, no? So again, pababa yung Upsilon 2, yung pagilid ang Upsilon 1, no? So we have 10, tama ako, no? 10 and 15, no? So we have, oops, sorry, naglag. So dito tayo titingin sa eto. Teka, hide ko lang, iusog ko lang to. Ayan. So ayan. So first, no? So saan ako? So we have 15 kay nu2. Nu2. Upsilon 2, no? So 15, ito 'yon. Ayan. Then 10 kay nu1, no? So ito. Ayan. So ang overlap is at 2.54. Ito, kung nakikita ninyo sa screen ninyo. So The overlap is 2.54. You can check it at your own F tables, no? Sa F distribution tables natin. Okay, so we have 2.54. Yan. So this is our F statistic, no? So find the critical value for dito. Sorry, this is our critical value pala. Ayan. So si 2.54. Si F statistic naman, no? So since our calculated F is 2.5, okay, which is less than, no, ito yung F statistic, then we have here our critical value. Ayan. Okay, so since mas mababa si F statistic kay critical value, okay, we cannot conclude that machine A is significantly more inconsistent than machine B at 5%. No, at 5% kasi 5% too. Okay, so maybe at 1% pwede, no, but it depends, no, hindi naman natin kinompute si 1%. Okay, so that is for F statistic, no. So another wala na pala. No, so for the last part of this lesson, no, so let's talk about p-values. Okay, p-values natin, this is a decision tool used across all distributions. The normal, the t-distribution, the chi-square distribution, and the f distribution. It represents the probability of obtaining a test statistic at least as extreme as one observed, assuming the null hypothesis is true. So we're going to use more of the p-values pagdating natin kay hypothesis testing. But for now, no, so yung basic idea lang muna ni p-values. Okay, for a low p-value which is less than or equal to 0.05, the result is statistically significant. Okay, so the idea that the result happened by pure chance, no? So significant yung kumbaga ayan. Then kasi dito sa p-values, dito natin ginagawa yung acceptance or rejection ng hypothesis natin. But again, wala pa naman tayo doon, so we'll talk more about that pagdating natin sa hypothesis testing. So high p-value which is greater than 0.05, the result is statistically insignificant. There is sufficient evidence to claim a change or a difference. Okay, so yan. So we have here an example, no? So an engineer tests a new catalyst intended to increase the yield of a reaction. The historical average yield is 80%. A sample of 25 runs with new catalyst gives a mean of 83%. After performing a z-test, so dito pa lang, alam na natin kung anong anong distribution meron tayo. Since z-test ang ginamit, this is a normal distribution. Okay? The engineer calculates a test statistic of z is equal to 2.5. Find the p-value. Okay? So, yun yung pinapahanap. So, this is, sabi nga natin first, no, determine the test type, no? That's always the first step, no? So, since sinabi na z-test, no? So, normal distribution, and since ang hinahanap nung engineer daw, okay, is the increase, okay, yung increase sa yield, okay, one-tailed t-test lang tayo. One-tailed z-test lang tayo. Normal distribution, one-tailed. So, meaning only on the right side ang titignan natin. Kasi increase lang naman ang tinitignan. Okay, so, first, no, so, ano ang gagawin natin? So, let's look at for a while. Yan. So, unang step natin, let's look at the area. Okay. For z is equal to 2.15. Okay, so, kasi given naman yung ating z statistic na 2.15. So, punta tayo sa, sorry, wala pala akong normal distribution table dito. Wait lang . So, i-ano lang natin. Pakita natin. So we are here at the uh, area under the standard normal curve, no? So since naka-Z statistic naman tayo, no? So we have from 0, no? So dito, highlight natin, ano? We start with this one, no? So then hanapin natin yung kay 2.5, which is this one. Then ano yung intersection nila, no? So in this case, we have this, no? So that's 0.938. Now, okay, so pakitandaan si 0.938, ah. Sorry. Hindi ko ata na ibaba. Ayan. Okay, so hindi ko napansin. Ayan, so again, 0 ang start sa gitna nung normal distribution natin. Going to 2.5 kasi that's the Z statistic na na-compute na binigay nung problem, no, na na-compute daw nung engineer. So we have here the area of 0.498. Okay? That's the area from 0 to Z. Okay? However, hindi naman yun yung hinahanap natin. What we are after is, no, going back to the problem, okay, the increase in the yield in the reaction. So meaning that is that should be above, saan ako? Yan. That should be above yung dun sa 0 point, ano ngayon? Yung ano natin? 0 point sorry, not 2.5, 2.15 pala. I forgot. No, so medyo na overlook. Sige, balik tayo sa table natin. So burahin ko lang to. Sorry. 2.1 between this and this, no? So since 2.15 approximately 2.2, no? So we can use 0.4861 instead, no? So sige, balik tayo kay problem, no? 0.4861, no? Ayan. 0. That's the area, di ba? 0.4861. Tama ba? Double check na, nakakalimutan ko. Yeah, that's 0.4861. Now, this area, ang sabi nga natin is dapat yung above. No, yung above dun sa 0.4861 ang hinahanap natin. So, what we're going to do is, since this is a one-tailed test, hindi natin kukunin yung buong area ng distribution. Kasi, tawag dito, mako-consider natin yung nasa kabilang side. No? So, instead of subtracting it from 1, no, hatiin natin si 1, that is 0.5, okay, minus the area covered. This is for one-tailed test. Naintindihan mga kapatid, no? For example, like this one, a one-tailed test, no? So, this is equal to 0. No? I-calculate na natin. So, we have here 0.5. Okay, minus 0.4861. Okay, so that's equal to 0.01. Sorry. Hindi ko pala napakita. Ayan. 0.0139. Ayan. Okay, so this is the ang tawag dito, the difference. Now, this difference is yung ating p-value na. Okay, this is our p-value. Now, okay, paano natin masasabi kung tawag dito, kung okay ba o hindi? Gagamitin natin yung definition natin kanina. If the p-value is less than or equal to 0.05, okay, the result is statistically significant. No? So, since this is less than, tama, ayan, 0.05, therefore, this increase is significant. Okay, so there's only a approximately 1.8, no? 1.39 1.39 chance na hindi totoo yung increase. Sobrang baba. No? So, that's how we use the p-values. But again, we're going to discuss this more pagdating natin kay hypothesis testing. Okay? So, I hope you guys learned something. No? So, I hope everything is clear. If you have questions, let me know. Okay, I will see you on the next lesson about estimation theory. Thank you and ingat kayo palagi.